Everyone thinks that entrepreneurs have to come up with something dynamic, huge, something that's going to change the foundation of the economy. Simple solutions can actually generate a tremendous amount of revenue.
I think the decision to focus on legal solely really came when we realized we were sacrificing our leading position in the market by trying to do other things. We launched TotalAccountants.com for a while using a similar type model. We started going down the path with a couple other industries as well, and realized that we were really sacrificing our opportunity inside the legal space by jumping into these other industries.
So it turned out that really once we focused on one niche and we said, okay, we're going to do mobile marketing. So we went to send out that direct mail piece, and that's really what kind of, I think, was probably the turning point that really, took us from small company that was floundering but doing okay to mid-sized companies.
We're guided in our strategic planning by a quote that Wayne Gretzky made when he was asked, how is it that you scored more goals than any other player in all of NHL and even half the time that Gordie Howe or any of these other guys did? And he said, I never went to where the puck was, I always went to where the puck was going to be. And so we as a company are constantly thinking, where can we be going that before the market knows that it has this need? I mean, if you asked, as my father would tell you, if you asked Henry Ford, if he had asked his customers what they would have wanted, they would have said a faster horse.
We went from a struggling, very small 30-person firm to all of a sudden we had 200 people with 20 offices around the country. So it was very, very important to get the processes in place and the systems, and really the most important, the right people in the right places to manage that growth. There's always that hope that this is going to turn around. It's going to make it. It's going to make money. And at a certain point, you've just got to cut your loss. And you learn that in managing investments. It's the same thing with businesses. I think, in some situations, we've given certain opportunities or certain things too long of a rope until we finally cut bait.
You need to understand what happens when the product doesn't work if it doesn't. And in the past we had experience where we staffed up around some products and we decided to put them on the back burner, and you realize, well, what does that mean for this team? And I think we learned a very, a hard lesson, but a great lesson to learn at the size we were at, that when we decide to go into new things, we should really plan out the other side if it doesn't work. We got the great plan for when it works, but just in case, it doesn't work, or it doesn't work as fast as we thought it was, or it didn't do exactly what we wanted it to, how do we deal with that? And I think we've gotten much better at really looking at a full life cycle of product development and the human element of R&D.
Once you give away something free and then go back and try to charge, it'll never work. So that's my biggest thing, is don't give anything for free, expecting one day you're going to charge for it, because I can tell you right now, when it becomes charged, no one's going to come back. So the biggest lesson I've learned is don't give anything away for free, because it's just, they're going to expect it forever.
Unfortunately, it's taken me too long to figure this out, is the balance with my life with respect to my family, my wife and my 3 daughters. That time is so fleeting, and it's such a cliche that it's here and gone before you know it. But here I've got 2 kids in college, and hoping to re-engage with. Been doing okay on re-engaging with our employees. Maybe need a little concentration on the re-engagement with the family, because they're usually going to be your biggest supporters. And again, if you don't have that balance between yourself, with your work, with respect to your own personal things that you do, and your family, you're probably not going to be successful.
People always ask me, well, how do you hire people? So I hire 2 things. If you work for Kirby, a vacuum company, I'm going to hire you. Because if you're willing to walk through certain neighborhoods and carrying a $1,000 vacuum cleaner that weighs about 4 tons and knock on every door and have people like chase your dogs, all right, come on over, because our job's going to be a hell of a lot easier.
Young employees do still want to skip around. I mean, they want to find out what's better out there for me, and so if you can do things to help retain those employees, of which we do a number of things. So one of the things we thought was, well, okay, we'll set up this challenge, and this will keep people motivated for a couple of years, and say, look, If you're in this room in 2007 and you're still here in 2009 and we reach this goal, we're going to take this $250,000 and divide it equally with whoever's still here at this point.
And we make sure that all of our fourth generation clearly understand our rules for joining the family business, which is our documented in what's called a Darley Family Participation Plan. And in there, we clearly lay out, number one, that they have to have the education enabled to do the job. They should be reporting to non-family members. They should make sure that they understand that we as a company have no obligation to hire them, and they in turn have no obligation to come to the business. So, and that the company is going to be run by the best managers, whether they be family members or not.
When we look for candidates for new positions, we definitely like people who have diverse outside interests. Being able to have your employees casually talk about their sketch comedy and the band, our vice president's on tour in Europe right now. You know, all these different outside interests really contribute to a very healthy internal environment when you have, you know, multiple musicians and thespians and sketch comedy people and people wandering around talking about what they do outside or community groups they're involved in or volunteer organizations they're working with, and that creates a vibrant atmosphere. And I'd say, you know, one of the things I definitely was surprised by was when we'd hire someone, then you'd get to know them, and we were generally selecting people that had these diverse outside backgrounds. And now it's actually something that we look for, but we are interested. You know, what else, what are you into outside the office? That's always an interview question I ask is, what do you like to do for fun?
From my experience of the years I've done this, I've never had an aha moment. Never have. I've always had where it's just that gut feeling I should be doing this, and you try it, you fall, you get back up, you fail, you get back up. But that's, I think, what the whole spirit of entrepreneurship is about, is that you never give up.
Those early years of growing from 500 to 1 million, or 1 million to 2 million, 2 million to 4 million, were far more challenging and probably took longer than 2 years to do than from going 35 million to 70 million, because at that point we had credibility, we had a staff, we had career path for people, we had a lot of things going in our favor.
Looking back when it first started to where we are today, is I had the impression that if we were a business of this size, that it would be easy. Like, oh, we've made it. And I've definitely identified that there's no such thing as making it. Every day is a battle to continue to meet your customers' needs and continue to you know, run an organization. You know, that I think has definitely been the, you know, one of the largest surprises. It never gets easier. It gets different. And maybe I had the impression that, oh, you know, for a company of this size, boy, this is going to be easy, and it's quite the opposite.
As I always say to my wife, I pop up out of bed like a piece of toast in the morning. I honestly can't wait to get to work. It's a wonderful place, you know, and so many of my family members share that same passion as I. That you know, it's our life's work. It's not just a job. And again, I think that has been an underlying reason for our continued success as a business, and our desire to reinvent ourselves.